Hello, everyone. Question for you. If somebody on a traffic stop says, I want to see your supervisor, bring him to the scene. I'm not going anywhere until until I talk to your supervisor. Do you have to call your supervisor, or can you take care of business and tell them to go down to the police station, for example, right? My name is Anthony Bandiero, bringing another Right Side Chat. I'm broadcasting from a nice little hotel in Mount Pleasant, Texas, where I've been teaching Texas DPS and surrounding agencies this week. And I really just, I love my Texas cops. And doesn't mean my Alaskans and Californians and New York eh, are not my favorites too, but there's something special about Texas. And let's continue. So this officer is staying that, all right. So I actually don't even know what state he's in, but it doesn't really matter because the question is universal. He says, look, we see a lot of TikTok videos and, with non-compliant people and, there's, these sovereign citizens are like, I want a supervisor, and other people like, bring me out your sergeant, right? I'm not signing anything until I talk to your sergeant and so forth. And the cops stance is like, if you the traffic stop is not the place to litigate. It's the place to receive your citation, and we go to courts from there. Now, can I make a video on this, right? Look, I mean, who listens to me? The cops do, right? Even though, I do have a lot of, people, constitutionalists, and so forth who watch this channel. I got to tell you, like, I actually, a lot of times I do like their banter, I appreciate it, because I'm a constitutionalist, right? I'm not a sovereign. I'm not that far, but I'm definitely a constitutionalist in the sense that I love the Constitution, and I believe that everybody, police and citizens, should know the Constitution in and out. California, maybe if California legislature actually read the Second Amendment, maybe they and understood it. I'm not sure they're smart enough to understand it, but if they understood it, maybe they would stop violating the Second Amendment in California. It's things like that. So I'm a constitutionalist, and the reason I bring this up is I don't give them a hard time, but sometimes some of these guys will give cops a hard time, right? And they'll say things like, oh, you didn't have a reason to stop me, unjust stop, and you have no reason to get me out of the car, and all this kind of stuff. And I really do think that, that officers should have the backing of the department to kind of pick and choose and use discretion about when are we going to bring out a supervisor to the scene, right? Because if somebody is like, I think that you did, I was not speeding, right? I want a supervisor. No, 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 no. I'm sorry, but if I'm your boss, we ain't calling out a supervisor and having my sergeant put down his hoagie and travel all the way to your traffic stop and missing a good meal just because the person wants to disagree about the probable cause for the stop. Okay, that is not the time or place. However, if the driver is saying things like, fractured my wrist, when you put me in handcuffs, or you groped me, if it's a female occupant and you grope me, some kind of, whether excessive force, whatever, certainly we want to document that, right? We want another witness to be out there and say, hey, look, when I got out there, this is what I observed. This is what they told me. One more camera. Hopefully you have cameras, for the, maybe future litigation and so forth. But if all they want to do is have court on the side of the road, no. I've had so many people, they'll tell me, I don't want your sergeant. I want your chief, I'm like, I don't have a chief. They're like, you don't have a chief? Really? No, I'm sorry. I don't have a chief. And, well, who's your boss? I said, my ultimate boss is my colonel. And I mean, I'm not trying to be snide, but the thing is, like, the point is like, we're not going to bring out the colonel, of my agency to a traffic stop to litigate something about a speeding ticket. So I don't know if this is really what my officer is looking for. I just think it's part of the conversation. If you want something more elaborate, but I guess my point here is that certainly there is no legal obligation to have a senior officer, come to the traffic stop and play referee on all the things going on in your traffic stop, right? However, good policy, good discretion, good public relations, community relations would dictate that your officer should definitely call, a supervisor when there's a legitimate complaint, right? Something that is probably not going to be litigated, but it's something, external to the actual stop itself, right? The excessive force claim, some kind of sexual harassment, maybe racial profiling, those things we probably want to resolve as soon as possible because they can, if we don't do something about it, then we can be accused of not being responsive to very serious complaints of misconduct, right? Those are the type of things that we want to kind of resolve right here and right now, and if there's any truth to it, then we open up an IA. I hope this conversation has helped you. I like these conversations. What else do I got to do in my hotel room in Texas but to talk about issues that you're facing every day? If you like what I'm doing, can I ask you a favor? Hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and share this with your friends. That really helps me a lot. Until next time, my friends, you stay safe.